Today I'm going to show you how to set up a simple form on your website that has an auto reply feature so that you can automatically send an email back to the person who filled out the form in your survey, provided that they gave you an email address. So to do this, we're going to use the survey tool. So I'm going to create a new sub-survey on my site, and that will launch the basic editing environment for Itrium. And so here I'm going to name my survey auto reply survey, so I know what it is. And surveys by default, they have some configuration options. I'm going to turn off numbering and just put my labels for my questions to the left-hand side. I'm also not going to need a place to store my survey results since I'm not going to store them for this survey, so I'm just going to cut that out of here. And then now I'm just going to create the parts I need to set up the auto reply functionality. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is create a short answer question. And the short answer question we're going to use to create an email field in my form, and it's here where we're going to collect the information, the email address that we need that we're going to use for the auto reply, who we're going to send the email to. And the key here is that it has to be named auto reply to address. Okay, so this is a well-known name for a survey question. We're going to look for it, and if we find it, we'll use that for the to address for the returning email. Now, the actual question text that shows up on the page can say anything you want. So I'm going to say it's email here, and then I'm going to set the type to email so that we do validation on that question. All right. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a simple delivery instruction, which is a delivery by email. So I'm going to create this, and in this instruction, we're going to leave the to address blank because we're going to pre-fill that with the email address that is submitted through the survey. The firm address can be anything we want. In this case, I'll just say website@itrium.com. Just needs to be a valid email address. And then the subject is going to be the subject of the email message that's sent. So this will be my test reply. And then the next things we're going to set up here is we're going to set up the MIME type for the delivery. So we want it to be an HTML delivery. And then we need a custom transform that we're going to process to pull the parts out of the survey and build the email that we're going to send out. And I know the name of this is email-text. And then finally, I'm just going to put a simple message here that we're going to return to the user that says, check your email for your message. Okay, so we're going to use that delivery instruction to set the whole thing up. And the last thing I need to do is create the actual text that's going to go in my message, and I'm going to just use a regular old HTML part to do that. So I'll create this piece, and in this piece the key here is that I have to name it email text. I'm going to put in my message, so this is the message that will be sent to the person who fills out the form. Alright, and you can put anything you want in here. Any valid HTML is just fine. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the style on this HTML element to reference because we don't want it to show up in the actual survey. Okay, so now I've got my three parts here. I've got my email question, which is set up here with the title auto reply to address. I've got my delivery instructions that are set up with no to address, and I'm going to pull that from my email question. And then I've got the text that I'm going to send to the user who fills out this form. So I'm going to save this, and now I've got a simple form on my site. So I'm going to put in my email address, so csumner@itrium.com, and then when I submit this survey, I'll get the message back here. Check your email address for your message. And now I've opened up my email, and if I look here, I've got a new email address that came from the website, and this is the message that will be sent to the person who fills out the form. That's the message I put in my text HTML block. Alright, so that's it for auto reply features for surveys. Hope you find them useful.